Strategy Sprint is back. That's right, this week-long virtual consulting project is back November 2nd to 8th. So it's a one-week consulting experience where you get to serve a real client. You work in a small team, you get mentored and directed by a former McKinsey, Bain, or BCG consultant, and you just drive some really amazing impact. So why would you join Strategy Sprint? A couple of reasons. So number one, you get really great experience for your resume that makes you stand out in consulting applications or corporate strategy applications or otherwise. Number two, you build some amazing skills. And number three, you get to confirm if consulting is right for you before investing in the entire recruiting process, which can be 3 to 6 months or more. Join Strategy Sprint today at the link in this episode's show notes. Hope to see you on the project.
How do you stay calm in an interview? We've helped over 15,000 people break into the most competitive field in the world, which is consulting. And in the consulting interview, there are a lot of nerves that come up because most consulting interviews don't just involve questions about your background, but you also have to do a practice business problem on the fly out loud with an interviewer. So what have we learned from training over 15,000 people for the case interview about staying calm, not acting nervous, and giving your best so that your opportunities are at their peak? The first thing that could be a source of nerves is if you're actually unprepared. We find this with thousands of people a year who come to us wanting a magic bullet to get ready for an interview. And sorry, here's the hard truth. It takes a process. You can't just think of a story and walk into an interview. You need to think a story. You need to write it down. You need to record it out loud. You need to test it on someone else. You need to use a timer on it. You need to refine it. You need to practice it, and you need to practice it again until it's natural. Stories are not natural for many of us to tell. And so if you're not ready for the interview, it is natural for you to be nervous. We find the same thing if you're applying information in a test format, such as a case interview or an applied coding exam. If you're not ready, you're naturally going to be nervous, and those nerves won't necessarily help you think more clearly. They're a symptom of your lack of preparation. So the first thing that you can do is get ready for your interview by following a step-by-step plan, whether it's someone else gives to you or something that you create on your own. The second thing that's really important is to walk into the interview as mentally fresh and free as you can. To do this, you have to make sure you don't hinder yourself the day before the interview, and that includes over-preparation. So we always recommend at least 24 hours of complete mental rest before you walk into the interview. Now, some of you will have jobs, some of you have families, and other things going on. I'm not talking about a complete rest where you're just vegging out. I'm just saying don't spend the last 24 hours preparing for your interview. Instead, consider going for a run or completing a workout. Get a great night's sleep. Drink a ton of water. Lay off the alcohol. Maybe even go to 0 on alcohol the night before the interview. And make sure that you follow your standard routine. So if you don't drink coffee, don't drink coffee. If you do drink coffee, do drink coffee. But follow a standard routine to prepare yourself for the interview. If you do, you'll walk into the interview fresh, happy, and excited to give your best, because no interview is easy to prepare for entirely. Some of it you'll have to deliver on the fly.
At Palm Tree, we're not just about numbers and strategies in M&A advisory. We're also about culture, and we're proud of ours, built on collaboration, development, and community. One of our cornerstone core values, a value that speaks to the type of environment fostered here at Palm Tree, is stay frosty. Stay frosty means not being afraid of rolling up your sleeves to do the hard work. It means taking care of yourself so you can show up when it really matters. It means having ice in your veins when the pressure is on, and also knowing how to let down your hair and have some fun. If you picture yourself as a stay frosty type of person, and you are seeking more than just a job, but a place where you can truly grow your career and your M&A skill set, reach out and inquire about opportunities at Palm Tree. There is a link in this episode's show notes where you can learn more and apply.
Number 3, ensure that you have a plan to manage your nerves, because while you can diminish your nerves through preparation and great fitness the day before, It's important that you have a plan to manage the nerves that do arise, because nerves are a symptom of the fact that you care about the opportunity. If you weren't nervous, it probably isn't a great sign. So we're looking to marginalize your nervousness, but not to get rid of it completely. When the nerves come up, think of 1 or 2 tactics you can use to manage your nerves. For example, we often recommend that people smile when they begin to feel nervous. Smiling physically relaxes you, and it has the added benefit of connecting you with the interviewer. It exudes confidence when you might feel the exact opposite. Or you could take a chance to just breathe really deeply. One deep breath inside the interview right before a response can be a sign of command. And often that kind of tactic can help to get rid of the nerves entirely, or at least it can make you less nervous overall.
Strategy Simplified, it's Japeth here. Before we end today's episode, I'm really excited to introduce a new segment for the podcast where we're going to be talking about a success or a win, or where someone recently landed an offer inside of our community, just to inspire you guys that, hey, firms are actually handing out offers. It is totally possible, right? Here's an example of someone who has done it, who's experienced success inside of the recruiting process. And really excited to have my colleague Caleb Preston with me. Caleb is our community manager. So he oversees our premium Black Belt community. Of course, Black Belt, you've heard us talk about it. Links in the show notes to learn more about that coaching program. And we can get into that a little bit further down the segment. But Caleb, excited to have you. Quickly, where are you joining in from today for the podcast?
Yeah, thanks so much, Japeth. I run the community from our little island in the Caribbean. So it's a treat to be able to serve and support some of our Black Belt and premium coaching clients, and I'm really stoked to be on today. Thanks for having me here.
That's awesome. Living the island life.
That's
All
right.
Well, let's get right into it with this first segment here. So can you just quickly share, who this person is for today's segment, and a little bit about their background?
You bet. So today I want to share about one of our community members and Black Belt coaching clients, and I'm going to call her Amber today on this call. And so Amber, she's based in Canada, and she was a very capable candidate already coming in. She was a Black Belt in Taekwondo, very accomplished, really a high achiever. So she already had that going for her, and she actually came with a pretty strong casing foundation. She had been doing casing for, I believe, 8 to 12 months prior to coming in. So she was pretty strong from that standpoint, but where she was weak is she really wasn't as confident on the fit side. She'd spent a lot of time practicing case, but not the fit. And she knew that she would not be able to get the level she needed to be without expert coaching. So that's why she went ahead and she purchased Black Belt. She signed up, she plugged in right away into the community, did an onboarding call with myself. We helped her orientate with a couple coaches that were best fit for her and her background. And over the course of 2 weeks, she hit a bunch of different coaching sessions and really hit an A level with both her case and her fit quality. And I was so stoked when she sent me a DM a few weeks later since she landed an offer with Bain as associate consultant. It was an amazing day for her and for us.
So exciting. And I know over at the management consultant offices, we all let out a little cheer and just so happy for Amber's success. So a couple things I'd just like to point out from Amber's story is, number one is don't neglect the fit interview. I think so many candidates can get overly focused on the case. And, rightfully so, to an extent, it is a very important part of the recruiting process, but fit is also really important. In the final round interviews, it is 50% of your final score, so definitely don't neglect that. And then number two from Amber's story is just the importance of having an expert perspective on your interview prep, whether that's a professional coach, like someone from our team at Management Consulted, or it's a current or former consultant who was involved in the recruiting process, etc. Just someone who can tell you, hey, do these 3 things, then you'll be ready, or hey, you can stop now, you're ready, or hey, here's a plan to get between where you are now to where you need to be to get ready for that. I really appreciate you coming on to share that story. Of course, for Amber, huge congrats from the Management Consulted team. So excited for you. Links in the show notes where you can learn more about the Black Belt program, the Black Belt community. Anybody joins Black Belt, right? You get not only 8 or more hours of one-on-one coaching with a former NDB consultant. You'll also join our community where you'll work with Caleb to kind of figure out what are the right steps for you to take, what are the right resources for you to utilize to be able to move forward in your recruiting journey. Caleb, any final words of wisdom or encouragement for our listeners?
No, just thanks for being here. I mean, these stories like we have from Amber are why we do this and why we're here. And I would love to meet some of you that are listening in and hopefully have you have a similar story. So thanks again for the chance to be here, Japheth.
Thanks, Caleb.
At Management Consulted, we've prepared people for the hardest interviews in the world. Do you have an upcoming interview that's really important to you? We'd love to help you prepare. Whether it's a case interview, a fit and behavioral interview, or a specialized interview, we are the experts in your corner to get you ready. Please reach out for more information.